Good evening to you all. Welcome to the award and the handing over ceremony organized by the 13th Executive Council for the 14th Executive Council coming, as well as the recognition of those individuals who have served or who have associated themselves in one way or the other towards maintaining, towards enabling the achievement of the 13 Executive Council's goals and aspirations. So notwithstanding, I would now want to call on the Vice President of the 13 Executive Council, which happens to be no other person but Adam Andau, to come and give us some little historical background as well as little genesis of how 13 Executive Council underwent until such that they happens to be in where we are in terms of achieving its goals and objectives. So ladies and gentlemen, may I call on the Vice President of the 13th Executive Council to come and do little deliberation on the subject matter. So, Mrs. Adam, now you kindly.
Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to welcome you all to today's awards night and handing over ceremony. As today marks the first ever handing over an awards night ceremony in the history of Sapeh. As the outgoing Vice President, I warmly welcome you all to today's night. Sit, relax, and enjoy as we take you through today's event. Sorry for the delay because we encountered a lot of challenges. We're supposed to do on all this arrangement yesterday, but we have done it today. So please, we are taking that apology. We are apologizing to you all, but notwithstanding, we tried our best to finish the event as soon as possible. Okay, so we have already played in our individual ways. So I would like to welcome. We don't have a speaker that is from the alumni, but so I would just welcome one of our honorable member who is here, Dauda Ijalo, to just come and give a brief about Sapeh, a kind of an advice that you have for the students here tonight. Dauda Ijalo. Can we put our hands together for Dauda Ijalo, please?
Okay, good evening to you all. As the outgoing Vice President has lamented, my name is Dauda Ijalo. I was one of the honorary members of the outgoing 13 Executive Council. So today, he just want me to give a brief history of Sapeh. Sapeh is one of the smallest association that you have in the University of the Gambia. So that being the case, is sometimes little bit challenging to lead in Sapeh or to be part of the executives because we don't have the human resources sometimes, or sometimes also, the association of the students towards the participation of the students towards the council matters sometimes is something very, very challenging. Um, so with that being the case, I would like to call on everyone here because as you can see today, even with this gathering, we are supposed to have at least a hall full of people, but you can see we are having just few members. That is almost the 13 Executive Council and the incoming Executive Council. So my advice is let's try and then encourage our genius, those that are there, because for us we are already going. Some people like me, we are already almost out of the department, and then most of the 13 Executive Council. So it is your responsibility, you the 14 Executive Council, to try and then bring up these people, those that are in the lower grades, that is those in the first year and the second year. Please do encourage them to come up and take up activities. Let them feel themselves. Let them know that Sapeh is here for all of us. Sapeh is not there just for the executives, or Sapeh is not just there for the lecturers, but it is there for all of us, including you, the students that are in year 1 and year 2. So they have to come on board. And for us to do that, it is now that challenge is going to be on you, the 14 Executive Council. We have tried our best, but sometimes it's very difficult because we all know sometimes the belief that we have that is that if you come to the university, you are there purposely for your academic. But then we have to understand that in university education, it goes beyond just the four corners of the classrooms. Sometimes these extracurricular activities also are very, very important. One example that I will give is maybe one of our former vice president who left this country currently. He did his masters, and that is Pasidi Jame. Pasidi really did extra well in this that Sapeh, and you can see him now. Just because of his involvement in these extracurricular activities, Pasidi happened to do well even in the United States of America. So I think we should give him a round of applause for that. He is going to be an inspiration for most of us. People like me, I was also very dormant, especially when I was in my first year. But then later, because of Pasidi's involvement, and then many others in the department, not only Pasidi, we have many of them that tried their best. So they inspire people like us to come forward. So I believe with the 14th Executive Council also, those that are coming also, you also have the same responsibility on your shoulders. You can do this. Encourage them to come forward. Make them feel that, yeah, this one, they are also belong to us. So I think this is just a little advice that I have for the 14th Executive Council. And the other thing is also try to be working together, because council matter is not something that a president alone can do or a vice president alone can do. It is going to be a collective responsibility. It is going to be both of you, all of you have to come together to work together so that you take Sapeh to the higher heights. I know we have a lot of capable people in that executive council. We all know the incoming president, what he is capable of, Janko Drame. He is a guy someone that is very, very hardworking, very active, very, very proactive someone. He is someone that I really enjoyed working with. And he's also part of those people that, make me feel very comfortable to work with, my elders. So with that, so we have a lot of them. I know a lot of you that are in this coming executive council. You can do it, and then just try working together, and then encourage others to come forward. So thank you so much. This is just a little advice.
Thank you, Honorable Dauda Ijalo, for those wonderful remarks, and equally to my only Vice President of the 13th Executive Council for giving us that little vivid account as to how individual contributions are as far as 13th Executive Council is concerned. Having said that, today on the agenda, as the outgoing Secretary General of the 13th Executive Council, I am been given the task to do a presentation on the terminal activity report of the 13th Executive Council, Student Association of Public and Environmental Health, University of the Gambia. This has been something that has been done before, but I want to believe some people were actually not available when the presentation was done by my president at the School of Education, Faraba Bantan campus. Notwithstanding, if you are within the confinement of these premises, I think it's going to be very important for you to know what actually transpired by the 13th Executive Council. Sequel to that, we go to the presentation itself. The 13th Executive Council, I shall present on the executive summary of how things actually transpired during our tenure. Likewise, the objective of the council from the inception to date, the activities that we have undertaken, the achievements, likewise the challenges and recommendation. Moving forward, the 13th Executive Council was actually sworn into the office by the Electoral Committee of our department, and this was done on the 5th of July 2025. When we were coming into the office, there were some peculiar challenges that we were confronted with. And part of these salient challenges that we were confronted with was, one of it was the issue of the pending grades. And equally, the practicum allowances that students were forced to pay when actually they weren't able to, or when actually it's not something incumbent on them to pay. Of course, the inadequate supervision by our officials or by our administrations onto students when they are embarking on their respective academic journeys in various regions and various institutions. And of course, limitation of departments' availability on associations' activities. So these were more of the salient issues given to the 13th Executive Council as a promise that they need to fulfill by the end of their tenure. As this may be the case, the council members were elected, they were selected, and then they bring out their policies, and most of the policies were geared towards addressing these key salient points that I have highlighted. Moving forward, the objective of the 13th Executive Council was to ensure that there is inclusive participation of the entire membership within the council or within the Department of Student Association of Public and Environmental Health, and to ensure that students offer themselves into research. We know a research is a scientific, rigorous activity that an individual within the department has to undergo through. So for students to have that maximum exposure, we believe that the only individual who could able to do that is actually the Executive Council. And of course, to engage our students on multiple community engagements so that they can know how to bridge that gap of theoretical concept to practical concept. These were the three main domains of the objective of the 13th Executive Council. So moving to the activities that we have done from the onset to date, we have series of activities that we have done. One of them was signing an MOU with the Animal Welfare Association of the Gambia, because we believe that these individuals or this party or stakeholders, or let me say organization, they have an agenda called integrating One Health in the Gambia. So as public health, we are bound to promote that activity. So as 13th Executive Council, this was something that we were able to do. And equally, we also pay a visit to Health Promoters Association. And then equally, what we were able to do was we did inter-association engagement with Congo Youth Children Development Alliance. And of course, through the dynamic leadership of our sport minister, which is so symbolic, and then he was very proactive in his policy implementation. Through his dynamic leadership, we were able to do series of football matches within the University of the Gambia. Moving forward, we also pay a courtesy visit to expanded program on immunization of the Gambia, famously or commonly known as EPI. And through this, the 13th Executive Council was able to achieve something that we can be proud of for a period of generations to come. And what is that? This was the 5% remittance that we got from them as a result of our students participating into the post-campaign evaluation survey. And through that, the 13th Executive Council were able to achieve $40-something thousand, and this was part and parcel of the remittances that we were able to get from them. So ladies and gentlemen, I think 13th Executive Council equally deserve a recognition by giving them at least a round of applause. So moving forward, we also did a courtesy visit to HIV and AIDS and maternal health program unit. This was geared towards the time when we were trying to implement one of our policy called the Health Awareness Week. We went there, they gave us thematic topics, and then the priority areas were within Western 1 and Western 2. And then I think the target audience were most often the students, the teachers, the vulnerables within the territory. And I can say for free, almost 10,000 students, or let me say 9,000 students as target audience were equally met. And this was done by the dynamic leadership of Dauda S. Jallo. And of course, we did series of media activities. These media activities, there was this fine day that I was sitting in my corner. My mother at the village, who does not know much about these things, just gave me a call. He said, "Oh, normally he called me my father. I saw you on TV this day. You were talking on this HIV whatsoever." I said, "Well, really? Are you for so?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Oh, then I am proud to say that at least from that village, my mother from the village, to tell me that at least he saw me, saying something on the TV, national TV, broadcasting, meaning I am giving an impact to the population of the generation." So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we equally need to be applauded for that. So, having said that, just to summarize, we have a lot of them. Okay, so we also did series of capacity buildings to students within our department, that is referencing and citation trainings and the likes. And then moving forward equally, we did visit Standard Bureau to make sure that we gain something. These were things that we were able to do. Of course, the main super event, which was the Sapeh Week, this was something that we had to do equally. And this Sapeh Week, we invite stakeholders from different entities to come and deliberate on subject matters that are very vibrant to students within our department. And I can believe, or I believe, that what has transpired there definitely pay a dividend. So, on behalf of the 13th Executive Council, I think those people equally, the stakeholders who came to participate in that event, they equally deserve to be giving a round of applause by my colleagues. Can we do that? So, part of the summarized activity we do was Sapeh Scholar Spotlight Award. This was something that we gave, and then there was an individual among us who was awarded with that certificate, and the individual is no other person, was Desiree Jame. So to move into specific achievements of the 13th Executive Council, one of the achievements was that we were able to successfully endorse Memorandum of Understanding with the Congo Youth Development Association, successful endorsement of Memorandum of Understanding with the Association of Animal Health Welfare, the Gambia, to foster partnership and interdisciplinary collaboration. Successful establishment, adoption, and ratification of 2017 Constitution of the Department of Public and Environmental Health. There was a constitution that was in existence in 2017, but we came to realize that most of the problems that we are encountering now, they are more contemporaneous. So for them to match, we have to revisit the 2017 Constitution. And through that, the dynamic leadership of Dauda S. Jallo, and under the chairmanship of Desiree Jame, we were able to adopt, we were able to vet, adopt, and ratify the 2017 Constitution to become the modern Constitution of what we are today. So equally, we also did an implementation of Health Promoters Association Week. This was something that I highlighted on. And then, sequel to what I've said before, we also did capacity building programs, particularly on referencing anti-citation techniques. And we also do implementation of a rapid health survey at Kuloro, conducted by students of the department, which provide a practical field exposure, strengthen research capacity, and promote community-based public health interventions. And equally, we also did a successful clearance of pending students' grades through continuous engagement and collaboration with department's administration. Earlier before, I made mention that when we were coming into the executive, the five salient activity problems that were given to us was about the issue of the pending grades. But through the dynamic leadership of Dr. S. Jallo, we were able to overcome that challenge. Part of the achievement equally, we were able to implement first aid training for students facilitated by officials from the Gambia Red Cross Society, Brikama branch, under the guidance of Baseku Seri. So equally, we were also able to do mental and counseling service by the counseling ministry. And of course, that goes to kudos to my boss, Ramsey. Can we give a round of applause? Ramsey, thank you for giving us those joys. Thank you for giving us those, night moments. Sometimes when I'm in my house, I'm seeing those things come on. It's something that we have to appraise you for. Likewise, successful remittance of a 5% cash deposit into the association's account from the proceeds generated through the national post-conference survey conducted by our students from with EPI team. We were of course able to sell t-shirts and logos to generate fund for our department or for our association. Now coming back to the challenges, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, coming back to the challenge. Number one challenge that we encounter as the 13th Executive Council was limited commitment and support from the administration towards the activities and operation of the Executive Council. Inadequate participation and engagement of some electorates in associations activities and events despite several sensitization and awareness efforts by the Council. Notwithstanding, ladies and gentlemen, insufficient support and collaboration from some partners, stakeholders in ensuring the effective implementation of Council's initiatives and programs. And of course, absence of dedicated budgetary allocation to the secretarial ministry and other fundamental ministries within the domain of the 13th Executive Council. Inadequate office logistics, malfunctioning equipment, including non-functional desktops, computers, laptops, and other essential electrical devices for other administrative operations. Moving forward, we also have this as a challenge of podium unavailability. As a department, we lack podium, and as a result, what do we normally do? We have to consult BPA or other school to give us the podium for us to be able to do whatever executive presentations and the likes that we need to do. So inconsistent participation and commitment of some council members during executive meetings and council activities, which affected effective teamwork and collective decision making. Incomplete payment of semester dues by the section of the student body, negatively affecting the financial sustainability and operational capacity of the association. No participation and involvement of graduate program students in Sapeh activities. So, moving forward, inability of the council to secure meetings and engagement with the key national dignitaries such as the Minister of Health, Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, President and the Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia. So we move to the recommendation. The administration should strengthen its commitment and institutional support to the Executive Council in order to enhance effective governance, smooth operations, and the successful execution of association's program. The association should intensify students' engagement and sensitization initiatives to encourage active participation of all electorates in Sapeh activities and events. The association to provide a dedicated budgetary allocation to the individual ministries for the subsequent council to come. The department and association should prioritize the provision, maintenance, and replacement of essential office equipments, including desktops, laptops, and other electrical devices. The department should provide a standard podium to support effective presentations, moderation, and official engagements. The council members should demonstrate greater commitment and consistency in attending executive meetings and participating in council activities to ensure collective responsibility and teamwork. The association should implement stronger strategies and awareness campaign to encourage timely and full payment of semester dues by all students in order to improve financial stability and sustainability. Sapeh should develop inclusive engagement strategies, specifically targeting graduate program students to promote their active involvement in association programs. This recommendation specifically goes to the 14th Executive Council. As part of the challenges, we made mention that there were few parastatals, or let me say, there were few bodies that we were unable to meet. Part of it is the Minister of Health. So we are now giving this thing as an embodiment to the 14th Executive Council to ensure that before their tenure comes to finish, they meet the Ministry of Health so that they can have that tete-a-tete discussion with the Minister of Health to be able to improve the welfare, to be able to improve whatsoever demands and aspirations of the 14th Executive Council. Equally, the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, we tax them equally to be able to meet these individuals. And of course, the President and the Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia. So in coming to conclusion, the Executive Council were not able to achieve this thing in separate entities. Of course, we have partners. And who are these partners who enable us to achieve what we want to achieve today? And so most of these partners are, or let me say, these partners are Riders for Health, Gach Construction Company, Public Utility and Regulatory Authority, Directorate of Public Health Service, the Atlantic Media here present, Expanded Program on Immunization, Association of Public and Environmental Health, Regional Public Health Association, Regional Public Health Association, URR, and Regional Public Health Association, equally LRR, Godsmin Academy, Mansakunda Area Council, and then we also have the 23rd Executive Council, UTGSU, and Fine TV, Atlantic TV, and the likes. So, ladies and gentlemen, this comes to the end of my presentation. So, I give the mic to my VP. Thank you so much.
Okay, sorry. Good evening, everyone. Just as our VP just mentioned, I am Saja Sambu. Anyway, I'm glad and happy that we are all here to witness such a moment. It is not easy, but it is also through sacrifices and also through hard work and also through so many challenges we've all gathered here today. Yes, I'm a graduate and now I'm part of the Sapeh alumni. So to just say a few words regarding Sapeh. Sapeh is a very small association when it comes to the University of the Gambia. But most of the time, we members of Sapeh, we underrate what we have. Looking at it that we are the smallest association, it should have been more easier to manage and organize Sapeh than any other association in the university. But we always underrate what we have by admiring others what they have, or looking into what other associations have achieved which we are not able to achieve. That is not because we cannot do it, but it's because of what we've taken Sapeh to be. So just to give a small advice, the 13th executive has done their best, and now it is the turn for the 14th executive council to also try and do their best. It is not always easy to lead an association or to lead people, especially when it comes to Sapeh. It is very difficult. We are the smallest, and it is also the hardest association to lead. So we just have to be more patient, especially the 14th Executive Council that is coming up. We have to be more patient and also try our best to make sure that we encourage most of our colleagues, especially either our juniors or even some of our seniors that we know that they are not taking part of Sapeh, to develop Sapeh or to take Sapeh to a different level. We all have to be involved. Not just the 14th Executive Council, but even the 13th Executive Council, as they are leaving, they will still be part of Sapeh because they will be joining the Sapeh alumni. Even the Sapeh alumni, sometimes with activities, when you invite, people will come into giving their support. But it has to be a collaborative movement. Sapeh, the 14th Executive Council plus the 13th plus the alumni plus our department or other departments, anything that we have to achieve when it comes to Sapeh, it has to be a collaborative work. So I'll just ask, and also I'll take this moment also to thank most of us that are here, because it is not easy. Looking at the number that we are here today, it should have been more than this. But a lot of us are either engaged with other stuffs that they could not make it today. But we made it by sacrificing the little time that we have to be here. So let us not just stop at this level, but as many activities will be organized by the 14th Executive Council, please just keep trying whatever best that you can to make sure that you participate. Participation when it comes to activities is very key. You will never know that it is very key. Sometimes maybe you will be at somewhere else thinking that, this is not worth it, or it doesn't worth my participation. But what you will even learn when it comes to that participation is you never knew it when you leave. After leaving, that is the time you even realize that if had I known, I would have been doing so and so and so for Sapeh. So please, the 14th Executive Council, I'm begging all of you, try your ultimate best. Don't give up. It is not easy to lead, but with resilience and with hard work, you people will be able to do what even the 13th Executive Councils were not able to do. So on that note, I thank you.
Distinguished guests here present, the 13th Executive Council here present, the outgoing President, Mr. Dauda S. Jallo, my able sister, Matilda Drame, all other protocols duly observed. I think this is one of the most memorable moments of my life, as I served as Secretary General of 13 Executive Council, now transited to becoming the President of the 14th Executive Council. I want to thank each and everyone for coming. I know it is never easy, and it has never been easy, and it will never be easy. I want to give this assurance to each and every one of you that the 14th Executive Council shall live to your expectations. Though the bar raised is very high, but we shall try by any means we live to your expectations. We shall ensure that we fulfill the promised policies deliberated before the electorates to a level that it will be applauded by the entire student membership. I promise that Sapeh shall be recognized. I promise that the living legacy left by the 13th Executive Council shall be mirrored by the 14th Executive Council more. It wouldn't be easy, but we will surely do it. To my 14th Executive Council, I want to make these pledges to you that Leadership goes with responsibility. Leadership goes with accountability. And leadership goes with sacrifice. You are being entrusted to be given these positions. We shall all make sure that we fulfill our dreams to leave a living legacy that shall be recommended by the entire Student Association of Public and Environmental Health. So to conclude, I know we have been here for quite a long time, and some are going to the farmost part of the region, which is Western Region 2. So I think I wouldn't be fair without giving thanks to these such people. It has never been easy. This is all about sacrifice. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. No one is paying us. No one is paying you. No one is giving you the fare. But the fact that you were able to put this thing on yourself to come and represent Sapeh, or to come and recognize the certificates given to the former Executive Council for the excellent work that they have done. I think no one can pay you, but it's only Allah who can pay you. So on behalf of the 14th Executive Council, I said thank you to you all for coming. Thank you for gracing. And for the 13th Executive Council, know that, yes, constitutionally, things have ended now, but then your doors shall remain open. Because wherever we think that your service would be needed, we are still the same people, the same domain, the same association, the same public health, that we shall all took an oath to protect the nation, to protect the people, individual, and the community. So ladies and gentlemen, on a summarized note, I thank you once again for coming. May Allah's blessing and guidance be on us all. Thank you. See you. See you. See you.